Welcome back to the final episode of the 8274 restoration. Now, where were we?
The end plate installed. We'll go ahead and install that cap and the grease fitting here real quick.
Wait, grease fitting? Why would you add a grease fitting to the idler end of the winch?
This is really kind of a problematic area for this winch. They'll dry out and then you can't free spool. It's just kind of a pain. So this is just a quickie little mod. Put a grease fitting on this end of the winch so you can just squirt it, move on with your life without having to take it apart or anything like that. Okay, so what we have is the clutch end, or basically what I consider the idler end of the winch. Your winch drum goes into this end right here. It will fit into this bushing right here. This installs like this basically. Pretty simple. And then we're going to install a grease fitting into this hole right here. This will need to be drilled out and tapped a little bit. And then what will happen is we will drill a hole in the bushing that will come through right here, and we'll meet up with that hole. We will install this grease fitting into the bushing here, or into the deal right there, and that will be that. So you can see how far that relationship goes in there. You basically want to have this hole, in the center of this bushing here. Okay, so this is a 1/4-28 tap. This is a 7/32 bit. I'm just going to open this hole up a tiny bit so we can get this to start here. Okay, so once that hole is drilled out, I just started it with a little tap. You just want to use a 1/4-28 tap or whatever your deal is here. And then this will just screw in like that. And then, of course, your cap will go on there. This will hold on to the cap. Your other screw is 10/24. It will hold on there. And then I'm going to go ahead and drill a little bit larger hole here, so that will act like a little bit of a reservoir. Okay, here's one end cap. Get the part number there. Just this guy here. Because of the grease fitting, this hole here will need to be drilled out a little bit to open up the hole. Goes in there like that, alright? Starter is 10/24, and then this is a 1/4-20 grease fitting. So now we're going to go ahead and get the bearing installed in there, and we will rebuild the free spool knob for this armature bearing. And this will be your bearing 6203, just a common off the shelf bearing. Simple enough, just goes into the hole like that there. Little tapperoonie. Here's what she looks like inside. And all those brushes are worn. There you go. Totally plenty of life left. Cap goes on there like that there. Alrighty, so there is the motor installed to the housing. I added a ground stud here. And new hardware with locks. Those are 1/4-20s by 6.5s. Next we have the free spool knob. Pretty simple. This piece, we got the shaft, the spring, and the ball. Okay. We insert the spring in there, then the ball on top of it. Okay, so you can see what's going on. We've got to get the gear into that keyway there. You can see how that guy is. Generally a little bit easier to kind of do it in this manner. Then you can kind of see and feed gear on there, and then you can flip the handle around as need be. Like a glove. The head's assembled, the knob's in, the motor's in. May as well put some oil in it before we seal this all up. And I'm supposed to be putting 30 weight non-detergent in here. A little more silicone and we will get the lid on this guy. Okay, at this point, we can go ahead and add the plate. We've got our straps getting ready right there, and we'll just go ahead and get this guy mounted up something like that. Battery cables are all done. Contactor is mounted. J-nuts are on to put the cover on. So we have a new cover. Mine was smashed. New remote plug-in. This has already been re-terminated to go with the Albright, and if we want to add in-cab later. This particular box needed some clearancing to actually fit the contactor. You can see where it's been clearanced a little bit out in here just to get to sit down. And then the other thing I did here was this lower, I installed that J-hook backwards and ran that bolt down through so that you can use that as a stud, and then you don't have to fumble with trying to take that hardware out later. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the plug into the cover now. Here's what we look like underneath the cover. Your green will go to this side here, and the black goes to this side here. The center pin on these contactors needs to go to ground, so I have this looped out and it's looped to a ground back here. The power to your remote comes from power. So this wire, and this wire go to your remote. The center wire will go to ground. And what restoration wouldn't be complete without the proper stickers? Okay, so the last thing we have here is your remote control. This is your part number for the 3-pin remote control, 80172. Plug in what your control looks like. So Warren has this particular remote listed as like a UTV remote, 4000 and 4700, but it would get you this 3-pin remote, which in my opinion is your best way to go for when you're using the Albright, the classic 3-pin. Reality of the situation, the 5 and 6-pin remotes are just redundant grounds. Have a battery termination for your winch, and it's absolutely unnecessary. Okay, there you have it. And the only thing we really didn't do to this guy is add the 9.5 motor. It didn't have it. This motor was actually in really good shape, other than this winch being ugly. It was good. So it wasn't super rusty and had just been in the weather as per the norm. So here it is, all shiny and new. Find a home for a new owner, I suppose, here before too long. Here's a quick little ad I wanted to talk about. In a little bit of a haste, I ended up, I guess, grabbing maybe the wrong sticker for this winch. So I went ahead and grabbed a different one. You can see this one is showing Rev G, whereas this other one shows Rev 1. If you also notice, the window sizing is a little bit different as well. Here she is with the new sticker. You can see those windows line up a little better. You can see the serial numbers through them more clearly. This matches what came off of there. Well, all right, kids, that about sums it up. Obviously, the 8274 is a very venerable winch. There's all kinds of parts available. This was not really a basic resto, I guess, because shit kind of got out of control with my OCD and the polishing. But I mean, hey, if you're gonna do something, do it right, do it nice. Go big or go home. Hopefully y'all can take something away from that, a little bit of polishing, a little bit of alternate parts. You know, just get out there and fix something, restore something, make it better. Quit buying crappy shit 15 times instead of buying something cool once. Thank you for watching. Peace.
That wraps up another episode of Snale Racing.
Thank you for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe.